On Fanalysis, we combine the metrics of fantasy football with the hard data of sports betting to help you make the smartest plays. And for that, we turn to a sports betting analyst from Pickswise, Jared Smith. Jared, let's take a closer look at this Jets-Panthers game. Carolina is a 4.5-point home favorite, and I know all the focus is going to be on Sam Darnold, but let's not forget, the Panthers also have Christian McCaffrey back as well. Does that play a role into which way you're leaning on this one?
I think the offense for Carolina does play a role. However, the line movement to me denotes that the Jets might actually be kind of a sharp pooch here. We saw this line, kind of start to creep towards the Jets. I've seen a 4 in some spots, and that's despite most of the action on Carolina as a home favorite. And the Panthers and Sam Darnold have not performed well as a favorite. Darnold 2-6 against the number. So when they're expected to win, that's when Sam Darnold and now his new team, Carolina, a match made in heaven, right? They have struggled, both of them, in those spots. So I would be weary laying it with Carolina. I think the sharper side here is the Jets.
Is that what is educating you on this one, is because it's moved a little bit to 4.5?
Yeah, and the lack of movement towards Carolina, because usually the favorites, and we've seen this in other games, we've seen when a favorite's getting the majority of action, they are very quick to move that line towards the favorite, because usually that action builds throughout the week. We've continued to see handle come in on Carolina, but I have not seen any movement towards the Panthers. In fact, we have seen a little bit of creep towards the Jets, and I would say more of a line freeze at 4.5. That, to me, tells the story a little bit with the Jets as the sharper side here.
But this one is just a lean for you. This is not a top play for you, but you seem to really like the over-under in this game. That's at 44. Here's a nugget. Over the last, or I should say for the last 5 years, the Jets have gone over in week 1. Do these roster additions that the Jets have made, I guess, make this a high-scoring game in your mind?
I think the talent surrounding Zach Wilson compared to the talent surrounding Sam Darnold in New York, for the last few years, gives me a lot of enthusiasm about this Jets offense. Obviously, on the other side, you mentioned Christian McCaffrey. Oh, by the way, Carolina has 2 1,000-yard receivers, one of them a former Jet, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore as well. So there is a lot of talent at skill position in this game. And then you throw in that revenge narrative, which I think takes the intensity level from 0 to 60 really quick. Usually teams like to start slow, ease into the year. This is a non-divisional game, a cross-conference game. These two teams are not going to play each other. I can see them pulling some tricks out of the bag, going for it on 4th down. I think Robert Saleh is going to have a very aggressive mindset. I could see this game being played at a very high intensity level for week 1. That, to me, denotes points.
Okay, so right now it's at 44. If it moves, where's your jumping off point?
So it's kind of funny. We talk about 3 and 7 being those key numbers on the spread side. For totals, 42, 46, 49. Those are kind of the numbers that I look to as lines in the sand. Right now, we're in no man's land between 42 and 46. I think if it gets to 46, that's when I would look to get off.
All right, let's switch over here to the Giants. 3-point favorites facing Denver at MetLife. They're 3-point favorites against Denver. Did everybody forget that the Broncos are a team that's built to win right now?
I love this Broncos team. I asked one of the bookmakers, and he was telling me, because I asked him specifically about this game, and he said if the Broncos would have signed Aaron Rodgers this offseason, we love their roster so much that we would have moved them to the 3rd favorite to win the Super Bowl behind the Bucs and the Chiefs. That's how stacked this Broncos roster is. And the Giants did absolutely nothing in the offseason to fix their one problem. Sure, they added Kenny Golladay. Sure, they drafted the wide receiver in the 1st round, the shiny new toys. But the source of the issue with the Giants is the offensive line. They gave up the 2nd most sacks in the league last year. Guess what Denver does better than anyone else? Von Miller, Chubb, they get after the passer. I think Denver is really going to suffocate Daniel Jones in this game, and I am willing to lay it on the road with the Broncos.
I mean, I think that says a lot when you say that the bookmakers would have put Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers had joined the Broncos, they would have automatically catapulted them to the top of the Super Bowl picks list. But let me throw out there a name of a guy that has been completely disrespected by the betting public. His name is Teddy Bridgewater, and it's happened his entire career. Do you realize, against the spread, Teddy Bridgewater is 35-14 as a starting quarterback. He is the 5th most profitable quarterback in the past 15 years.
It's incredible, and he's done it all with grit and determination. I mean, I remember that injury in Minnesota.
Yeah, not exactly great teams with Carolina last year, you know what I mean?
No. And New Orleans coming in to replace Drew Brees, he went 5-0 that year, kept the Saints afloat, gave them a chance to clinch one of the top seeds and make a run in the playoffs. And I'll be honest, Teddy Bridgewater, and again, I had some of the fascinating conversations you have with odds makers about how they view teams. And Teddy Bridgewater gives the Broncos such a higher floor than Drew Lock does. That's why I'm encouraged week one and willing to lay points on the road. Usually home teams, underdogs is where I skew week one. This is the one road team that's a favorite that I'm willing to bet this week. And it's because of the roster and it's because of Teddy Bridgewater.
I know you love home dogs. So if you're going against a home dog, you must have done your research on this one. All right. That is how he sees the Jets and the Giants games. Make sure you check out his top plays in our other Week 1 segment. For Jared Smith of Pickswise, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.